Yeah, we can start with our first winner, and coming back from just a amazing bounce back from being the absolute loser of the losers last week to being the winner of the winners this week. It's Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, Ryan Tannehill told the media last week on Wednesday when we talked to him about his week one performance that Sunday couldn't come fast enough. And that was not surprising coming from him, a guy who had arguably the worst game of his career in many aspects in New Orleans in week one. He was excited to get to this game. He was a man looking to prove that that performance was an outlier and not the new norm. We talked all week about how it by definition, was the outlier of all outliers in his career. But an aging quarterback, a guy that is limited even at his best, it raised a lot of questions about what this team was going to be capable of achieving with him at the helm. And his game on Sunday was much, much more in line with what we've grown accustomed to seeing from Ryan Tannehill since becoming a Titan. Very good, very efficient football. He went 20 of 24 on the day. He was good for 83% completion rate, which is I went and checked, the second best completion rate of his career, 131 starts. This is the second most efficient passing day that he has ever had. 246 yards through the air and one touchdown, no interceptions. Titans didn't turn the ball over all day long, as well as a 12-yard read option touchdown on his feet. He heard all of us talking about maybe he's washed. Maybe old father time has come for Ryan Tannehill's soul, come for his athleticism. Ryan heard the noise, and he laughed in our faces with a read option, fakes to Derrick Henry, gets the safety to bite, and then runs through contact, gets in the end zone for a touchdown. Some old school Ryan Tannehill, as we've come to know and love him here as a Titan. That's what you've grown accustomed to seeing from him. That little sneaky athleticism he has is what makes him a plus quarterback on his feet. And so we talked to him about his bounce back performance. No clips from the interviews this evening. Just couldn't. It's very late. I couldn't be bothered to pull them. But he was talking about how it was really nice to come back, bounce back after a week one that he wanted to wash away. He had the support of his teammates all week long. He was confident in his own abilities all week long, and he was excited to finally get back in the win column. He did all of that today, JT, despite being sacked 5 times and hit 6 more, which we're going to talk about a little bit later when we talk about the offensive line. But what stood out most in this game was his effectiveness on play action. He went 7 of 9 on play action plays for 168 of his yards, bringing his career average, last 2 seasons average to 11.8 yards per attempt on such plays since 2022. So in the last 2 years on play action plays, he has a 11.8 yard per attempt average, which is good for 1.6 whole yards more than any other quarterback in the league during that span. Very, very, very effective on play action, which we've known. Our buddy Zach Lyons with Football and Other F Words and a football show has most loudly been screaming this for the past year plus, that Ryan Tannehill needs as much play action as humanly possible. Both of his deep connections today, JT, the one to Treylon Burks that was the spark plug that had ignited the Titans offense, and then to Chris Moore in the second half, which was another big, I think, 49, 50-yard chunk play. Both of those came on play action looks where he, dialed in that accuracy we talked about last week. He kept underthrowing guys, and then he missed a couple guys with overthrows. The underthrows turned into interceptions. The overthrows looked like clear touchdowns that were squandered opportunities. He just couldn't dial in the range. Today he did. And that accuracy that he fixed from week one allowed him to manage to hit both Treylon Burks and Chris Moore perfectly in stride for those massive gains. He's a very, very good quarterback when the Titans emphasize play action on offense. It's as simple as that. When you mix Ryan Tannehill with play action, good things typically happen. Hopefully, Tim Kelly, the Titans offensive staff, all the people planning how this Titans offense is going to operate going forward, they should probably keep that in mind going forward, JT. Like that seems like, and it's one of those things where you're like, is it really this simple? Like, surely there's got to be like, I must not know football enough to really understand it, because it's that simple. Obviously, you can't do nothing but play action, then it doesn't work. But running a lot of play action is like our buddy Zach Lyons. Again, I'm sure he's going to talk about it this week. I'll put money on the fact that he's going to bring up the numbers this week. So tune into a football show, tune into Football and Other F Words later this week. The numbers in games where the Titans run a certain percentage of play action plays on offense is directly correlative to how Ryan Tannehill performs, and typically correlative to, how they win or lose games. And so that's something that the Titans really, really should emphasize going forward.
Yeah, I would totally agree. I think this was a total bounce back game for him. I think it was honestly Tim Kelly was cooking today.
He was in his bag, man. He's been in his bag since week one, and I'm glad they got the win, because we talked about it last week about how you go back and rewatch that game as we did, and man, Tim Kelly was cooking. He was scheming dudes up. He was scheming up those X plays, and they just could not execute on them. But it was there. The proof was in the pudding if you go and you look at the tape. The only difference today was that they executed on those X plays. That's really all it was. If the Titans had performed like they did today, execution-wise, in week one, people would have been saying, oh, man, Tim Kelly in his bag. I like this change of pace. I saw one person, the Titans' first 2 drives today, totally anemic. It very much dead in the stadium. Concerns from Titans fans. Like, I've got multiple texts from buddies who are Titans fans. Just, hey, we stink. Titans stink. And I corrected them. I said, the offense stinks. The defense is very good. And then the offense came around, and all of that is to say, like, this team, it is capable of good things on offense. They just have to execute on these plays. And I saw people on Twitter even saying, like, oh, look, Tim Kelly, just like Todd Downing. Let's relax, first of all. But if you genuinely think that, and that wasn't out of frustration, I don't know what to tell you.